Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Bo, 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 Hare Bo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. We love you, Prabhupada, we love you, Prabhupada. We love you, Prabhupada, we love you, Prabhupada. Haribo!
Traveling. Some have returned from their travels, and so we might see a few coming in. So it's just going to be us for now. I would like to request devotees, we can come way closer so that it doesn't have to be like an ocean between us. Hare Krishna, Shorab. Nice to see you. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Nittai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nittai Gaura Hari Bol Nittai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nittai Gaura Hari Bol Jayam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parigvacharya Stota Trishi Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parigvacharya Stota Trishi Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai नामाचार्य शिला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव शादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपी गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंदो राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। श्री मायापुर धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। यमुना माई की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Swami Dinamini. Namaste Krishna Padaya Vachadatmane Shri Guru Kano Shakti Bhakti Trutaname. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Dinamini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirveshesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharani. So today we will be discussing about lesson of gratitude from Christmas. We just had a wonderful Christmas yesterday. And was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. I forgot about it. It can be that too, you know. It can be that too. So Christmas has a very, very special meaning for many of us, and sad to say, it has become very commercial. It has really become so commercial that the essence of Christmas is like almost gone, you know. It's funny, Christmas morning, yesterday morning, my husband and I were looking out the window. And as we were looking out the window, we said, the development seems so quiet and dead. You know, there's no life. And we were just sitting on the couch and we were reminiscing, you know, our experience. I was raised Christian and so was my husband. And we were reminiscing how our Christmas days were when we were growing up, because in a third world country, it's a very common culture that during Christmas we have something called open house, where the family, you know, would cook all day and they would have friends come all day and relatives and, you know, the neighbors, high school mates, even the contractors that does building in their house. I remember my father when we were back in my country, my dad would only cook on Christmas because that's when he's home. And he would go for shopping, grocery shopping the day or two before, do all the cut up the night before, and 5 in the morning he'll get up and he'll cook all day. And we have my dad's, they both come from big families, like 8 sisters and brothers, so they come from big families. So we'll have people coming all day long, just giving and giving and giving. And then a week before that, we would get Christmas carolers, which we don't see that so much nowadays, probably in the small towns. I think. I don't know if that still exists.
Can I share a quick story?
Yes, please.
Last night I was at a neighbor's house, and they're all like devout Christians. They invited me over, and I sang some Christian songs.
Nice.
Well, I grew up in that. And when I was doing it, I was feeling this love of Krishna
Wow.
getting stronger by singing the Jesus songs. I didn't tell them I'm a Christian devotee.
Yeah.
It just build my strength up, or my faith up.
It's funny because Prabhupada says that when we take shelter of the Krishna movement, it helps us to appreciate Jesus Christ and all the other acharyas even more.
So beautiful.
Even more, absolutely. But that is the beauty of Christmas, you know, but you know, like I was even telling my husband, he was sharing his stories when he was growing up in his country and me in my country. And, you know, a week or two before, you would have Christmas carolers going from door to door singing, reminding us about the birth of Christ, right? What is the meaning of Christmas? And then we would invite friends all over. But in today's time, Christmas is so commercial, so commercialized, that we forget that the real spirit of Christmas means giving. The spirit of giving and appreciating divine gifts. I was coming across a very beautiful lecture by Bandha Rukmini about Christmas, and I want to really share what she spoke about. It's beautiful realization. Everything that I'm going to share today is from her lecture, but it really resonated with me, how we as devotees of the Lord can really appreciate the real spirit of Christmas, and that is the spirit of giving and appreciating divine gifts. One of the first, and if we look back at Christmas, right, it's the story of the birth of Jesus, the three wise men. They ride on the camel, and they come and they come from the east, and they see this beautiful star, I believe the Star of David, and by astrological calculation, they're supposed to follow the star. And wherever the star stops, that right below that is where they'll find Jesus. And that's what the three wise men did. By their calculation, they said, by our calculation, a divine light is to be born. We got to go find the divine light. That is Jesus Christ. But they have to follow the star. So they followed the star coming from the east, and when the star stopped, they said, it's got to be somewhere here in Bethlehem. And that's when they went to a stable, and they found the Lord Jesus Christ in a manger. Now, if we see, when, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, is whenever there's a decline in religious principles, the Lord appears, or one of his very close associates appear, or he'll appear in some shape or form or manner, like we have the holy name. The Lord appeared in the form of his holy name in this Kali Yuga. But if we think about the three wise men, they found Jesus Christ, and Prabhupada says that Jesus Christ is our guru, is our acharya. They found Jesus Christ lying in a manger in a stable, not in a palace. Now, where was Krishna born? In the prison. The Supreme Personality of Godhead took birth in the prison, right? Kamsa, yes, his uncle, his mother's brother. So if you look at that, is when great souls appear, of course Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but when he sends his ambassadors, when he sends his servants, they don't appear in some great, whatever, like Krishna. No, they come very, very humble. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita is, when there's a decline in religious principles, I will appear, or one of my servants will appear, or something, because to come and save the devotees and remove the miscreants. So one of the divine gift that we got, very fortunate, is the divine gift of knowledge. We have the Bhagavad Gita, we have so many of Prabhupada's books, right? And we have the holy name, we have sadhu sangha, we have prasadam, we have devotional service. We have so much knowledge of this wonderful divine gift that we got from Krishna. So the lesson that we have to learn in this time, in this holiday season of giving, is how much are we appreciating the knowledge that we were given by Krishna. But in order to appreciate the knowledge, we have to be aware that it's a gift and not take the knowledge for granted. See, between being, knowing, okay, I have the Bhagavad Gita, but are we really, really aware that this is a gift given to us by the Lord, given to us by Srila Prabhupada, right? Are we conscious that this is a gift? In order for us to be aware of these gifts that we get from the Lord, we have to be conscious. Prabhupada says, to be Krishna conscious, we have to be conscious first. To be Krishna conscious, we have to be conscious first. So we have to first be conscious first to know, wow, yeah, this is the divine gift from Krishna. But in order to be conscious, we have to be attentive. We have to be attentive. Be attentive to know that Krishna, You are here in this form of the holy book. You are here in this form of this Bhagavad Gita. You are here in this form of the holy name. You are here through these devotees of Sadhu Sangha. You are here through prasadam that we offer to the Lord. He's there, but we have to be attentive. Even when we get abilities and talents, we didn't earn those abilities and talents. It's a gift from the Lord. But sometimes we say, no, I worked hard for it. I earned it. It's my hard labor. You know, it's all about I, me, mine. The whole Bhagavad Gita is I, me, mine. We have to be aware that even the abilities that we get, the talents, the knowledge, whatever we have, we didn't get it on our own. It's a gift from the Lord. Are we attentive to know that these gifts are gifts from the Lord? Are we appreciating it? Or are we being controllers of this gift of gratitude? Mother Rukmini made a very nice point in her lecture, and she says, to be attentive is the doorway to gratitude. Very powerful statement. To be attentive is the doorway to gratitude. And gratitude comes from the heart. When we open our hearts to gratitude, we start paying attention. That, oh, it's coming from the Lord. It's not coming from me. But in order to be appreciative, in order to be attentive, we have to open that doorway of our hearts to really receive it, to really, really accept it, to really see, wow, Krishna, you're really giving me these gifts. And sometimes we think of gifts as something that's happy and pleasing. Sometimes when we go through hard times, we don't see it as a gift. What is the Lord trying to teach me here? What is the gift in that lesson that I'm going through that I have to overcome? Whatever hard times we're going through, because sometimes when we think of gifts, we always think of gifts as something positive, something nice, something flowery, something golden, something diamond, something whatever. But we never look as gifts, something when something not so good come in our way, we don't look at it as a gift because we think, but it's not packaged nicely. But that is Krishna giving us the gift to really think, it's not meant for you. That's a lesson in this. There is a teaching in this. Are you listening? Are we attentive to it? Last night, was it last? Yeah, I think last night I was, my husband and I were talking. I don't know how we started talking about this dormitory lifestyle. Like I've never lived in a dormitory ever. Boarding school, I think is what they call it sometimes. And I said when I was in India, when my dad was transferred to India, he wanted me to go to a boarding school. And as soon as my father saw the boarding school, he says, 10 bunk beds, 1 bathroom. Nah. He said, I'm not putting my daughter through that. So I never went to a boarding school. Whereas my husband was telling me that when he went to boarding school, it was 50 beds in one room, all boys. 50 beds in one room, all boys. And I was telling my husband last night, I said, when I was growing up, I always wanted to go to boarding school because whenever we think of boarding school, being away from home, it's like freedom, right? No mommy, no daddy, I can do whatever I want to do. No one's going to tell me this and that, blah, blah, blah. But when we were talking, I was realizing that boarding school 30, 40, 50 years ago, there is no gadgets to distract us. There's even no cell phone. No laptop. Everything is paper and pen. I know when I was in high school, there was not even desktop. I think desktop just started coming out like a year or two later. So there was no distraction. There was not enough Maya, to get us into a big mess. But now boarding school is trouble because there's so many distractions to drift us away from appreciating the divine gifts. And I was telling my husband, looking back, of course, when I was young, I wanted to go to boarding school. It never happened. But now when I look back, I'm grateful I didn't go to boarding school. I said, my parents knew what they were doing. Although I want to go. They're like, no. But now I look back, I'm so glad my parents didn't send me to boarding school. Because I don't know whatever happened, would I have been influenced? Would I have been in bad association? Would I have been messed up? So I was very much protected, and that's a gift. That sometimes we have to see, what is, when I look back, they were protecting me. So those are the divine gifts. Sometimes we think that gifts should always be in a good way, but sometimes the not so good way are lessons for us to learn and appreciate it. And it's very difficult for us to look at a lesson that is not good and say, okay, Krishna, I appreciate the slap. Okay, Krishna, I appreciate this kick. It's difficult. But that is how the Lord is sending us his love to say, hey, snap out of it, man. Right? It's not for you. There's a nice pastime of the Brahmana and the cobbler, right? When Narada Muni was traveling and he went to see Lord Vishnu, and he came back and told us a very wealthy Brahmana, a very person, and this person asked Narada Muni, you went and saw Lord Vishnu, what was he doing? Says like he was threading an elephant through the eye of a needle. This guy said, are you crazy? So why would Krishna do that? He says, no, I don't think you saw Krishna. It cannot be Lord Vishnu. Why would he thread elephant through the eye of a needle? Yeah, this is nonsense. This is not. I said, no, I don't think you saw that. I don't believe you. Then Narada Muni went and saw the cobbler. Very poor guy. And the cobbler asked Narada Muni, what was my Lord doing when you visited him? And Narada Muni said, oh, he was threading an elephant through the eye of the needle. And the cobbler said, yes, Krishna can do anything. I have no doubt that he did that because he can do anything and everything. The simple gifts, he was appreciating that the Lord can do anything, and he can do the impossible and the possible. It's how we view these gifts to be positive. When we come into this world, right, we come with nothing, we leave with nothing. If we think about that, right, we come with nothing and we leave with nothing. But from the time we come with nothing to the time we leave with nothing, we get so many gifts from day one till the last breath of our life. We get so many gifts. But the first gift that anyone gets as soon as they appear is the gift of human touch. And that is from the mother. The mother carries the child for 9 months. And the child only recognizes the mother's voice initially, the mother's heartbeats. Mother Rukmini was sharing, that during the World War II, that the Nazis did a very, very cruel experiment, she said. The experiment was so cruel that they had babies in a nursery. And they wanted to see how will the babies perform if they kept the babies clean, fed them, but away from their mother with no human touch, no human love, no human affection, nothing. Just kept them very clean, clothed them cleanly, and fed them. From this cruel experiment, the babies didn't live. They died. It's because they didn't have the human touch. And that is only possible for babies with the mother. Because if we think, right, the mother is the first guru for anybody. That's the first person that's the first voice they hear within the mother. Within the womb of the mother. That's the first voice they hear, and that's why they say that as soon as the child is born, the child will recognize the mother's voice. And the first 3 months, the vision of the child is not very clear because of a covering, and it kind of sheds away after the 3rd month. But when the mother is moving around the room, the child will turn, the baby will turn, and I saw it with both my kids. And so they will turn to where the voice is of the mother, because the mother is the first guru. So it's so important that we really understand that the mother feeds us with her own milk, sacrifices her life, gives up everything for the sake of for the child, right? And then for mothers, Prabhupada says, is those that breastfeed the babies, it's the mother's blood that's going through the milk to the child. It's a very strong connection. And why is the child able to progress? Is because of the mother's human touch and affection. And if you think about that Nazi story, it's really sad. How those babies died. And they thought, oh, but you're getting milk, you're being clothed, and you're clean. What's the problem? They died because they were not getting the mother's touch. So it's so important that we appreciate and we be grateful for our mothers, because they stay up late, sleepless nights, they give up everything for the children, mothers give up their dreams so that they can give it to their children. They sacrifice their lives, they inconvenience themselves for the children. I remember my mother when we were many years ago, back in my country, we were going through some really difficult, tough times when my father was in America the first 6 months. And he couldn't find a job, and he couldn't send money back. So at that time, I had to work after high school, after finishing high school for about 2.5 years before I came to America. And one time when I was working, and I got my salary, but there was a computer glitch or something in the bank, and I couldn't get my salary. And we only had $20. This was what, 80, my God, oh my Lord, 89, I think, yeah, he was 89. And the bank said that the glitch was so bad it will come up after 1 to 2 days. So I remember we only had $20. My father was not in the country. So my mother just had a very small amount of rice and some butter, and then just had a little money just to buy snacks to hold us for 2 days, like appetizers, whatever. And I remember my mom telling my sister and I and my aunt, I'm not hungry, you guys eat. And I knew she did it because we were little kids. But the mother will swallow. If she has to drink the water to fill the child's stomach, she'll do that. So we should be very indebted to our mother, very indebted, because it's only by her human touch and her affection and love that we even pass the baby stage to who we are today. Because had we not gotten that human touch, we would have ended up like the Nazis did when they did that cruel experiment. And another gratitude that we should have is the gratitude to Mother Earth. She is the supplier of everything. Food and grains, shelter, right? I mean, where do we get wood from? The trees. The trees grow from where? From Mother Earth. Every grain, every leaf, every plant is from Mother Earth. And in our Bhakti Yoga tradition, it is very important that every morning when we wake up, the first thing we should do is offer prayers to the spiritual master and to thank Mother Earth. It's a very good tradition that every morning we wake up and we say the prayer to our gurus, and then we thank Mother Earth because we're going to be walking on her. I don't know how many of you have seen Indian classical dancers. Before they ascend the stage to do their performance, they first have to take blessings from Mother Earth and say sorry, because when they dance, they've got to stomp on her. So it's a practice and part of the Indian classical dance tradition that anyone, even before they start class, Shri Shri Gauranitai ki, Bali Subhadra, Jagannath Bali Subhadra ki jai. So even before they get, whether it's before dance practice or whether it's before they do a performance, it is part of the practice that they first have to take blessings from Mother Earth and say, sorry, I'm going to stomp on you. Because we're giving respect to Mother Earth. So that's why it's so important that every morning in our Bhakti Yoga tradition, that we really understand the importance of every morning saying the prayer to our spiritual masters and thank Mother Earth. I'm going to be stomping on you, please forgive me. Because she is the mother. Sometimes we forget, you know. I remember my mother when she and I used to have very difficult times in our relationship. And sometimes we don't see eye to eye. And sometimes she will tell me, and now, you know, at that time she would say, when you say those things or when you hurt me, I feel like you're stomping all over me. My mom used to say that. It's only after I became a devotee I realized, because the mother is Mother Earth. None different. Are we appreciating that gift? The mother that we have and the Mother Earth are suppliers, right? Mother Earth is not asking for anything from us. She's only saying, I'm giving you food and grains and shelter. Why are you torturing me? And if we have the same thing with our mothers, we've heard our mother says, I'm giving you all I have. What else do you want from me? Right? And then we forget, because we are so attached, that we just stomp all over our mother. But that's what we do to Mother Earth. So it's so important that every morning we say our prayers to the spiritual master, and we tell Mother Earth, I'm going to walk on you, please forgive me, because you're my mother. And we also really understand, and it's part of our Bhakti Yoga tradition. We as devotees of Krishna, and in the Bhakti Yoga tradition, we are followers and practitioners of devotional service. But at the same time, we are also practitioners of love and devotion in the mood of giving, not taking. Give, give, give. When it comes in a form of gifts, we receive it. But we give. Bhakti Yoga practitioners, we are always in a giving mood, in the mood of love and devotion. Bhakti means devotion. Devotion can only grow in love. It can't grow in anything negative. The plant will die. The plant will die. Whenever we have to do gardening, what is the first thing that we do? Before that, we till. We till the earth to loosen the earth, right? With the rototiller. And once it's loosened, then we pull out the weeds, right? And once the weeds are pulled out, then what do we do next? We prep the soil, right? We prep the soil, we fertilize it. And then what do we do next? we put the seeds, and then we water it. That is the same process we do in our hearts. Same process. We have to first take the rototiller and rototill our hearts. Remove all that junk. The anger, the envy, the attachment, the lust, the pride, the greed, the illusion. Pull it out, pull it out. But one not so good news is not going to happen with the first rototiller. It's an ongoing process. It's not a one-time surefire. It's going to be an ongoing process of always rototilling and always pulling out the weeds. And once we get the junk out, then we pull it out, throw it away. Then we prep the soil with the holy name. Holy name. Then we plant the seeds of devotional service. Then we water it with sadhu sangha, hearing and chanting sadhu sangha, and then we grow. And then you'll see a nice, beautiful flower growing from it. That's our Bhakti Yoga tradition. So we have to ask ourselves, what are we giving our hearts? The Lord lives within our hearts as Chaitya-Guru, the Paramatma. So what are we putting in our hearts? What are we giving our hearts? What are we feeding in our hearts? Are we feeding anything at all? And if we are not, why not? Because the heart is empty. It's very hard. We got to loosen it. And the only way to loosen the heart is with a rototiller. Clean it up. So it's very important that every day, we take the time to glorify the Supreme Lord. We take the time to glorify our spiritual masters. We take the time to appreciate the gifts that we get and not fret about it. There's so much to fret about in life. We can, and I think sometimes, or many times, we can list all our problems all day long. But when we think of gratitude, we start scratching our heads. What am I grateful for today? It's so hard to think of one thing to be grateful for. But it's so quick. Snap of a finger. We can list all. This didn't go well, that didn't go well, I didn't get much sleep last night, because I didn't eat dinner last night, and my boss called me this morning, I gotta do this report, da 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 da. We can go on rambling like a crazy person. But when we think of anything good, what happened this morning that's good? Yeah, I woke up. Yeah, you woke up. That was the Lord's mercy that you woke up. That's when we thank the Lord. Thank you for giving me another day to live. Thank you for giving me this day as a gift. Right? Getting up in the morning is not in our control. It is not in our control. We don't go to bed planning, okay, next morning I will wake up. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee. Sometimes we get so attached. We say, yeah, but I have some time. I'm just 25 years old, I'm just 35 years old, I'm 40, I've got time. Yeah, right. There are a lot of people out there who have died when they were 17 years of age. Next morning, I don't know. It happens. Are we grateful with the day we have today? Are we thankful? Krishna, you gave me another day to live. You gave me another day to face. Thank you. Are we grateful? It is said that we can give a gift and we give what we can spare, right? But when we give gratefulness, it comes from the heart. Gratitude, we cannot show gratitude through a gift. We cannot package it and wrap it with a bow, with Christmas wrapping. We cannot package gratitude in a box. That's impossible. Because gratitude comes from the heart. So we have a choice either to choose a consciousness of gratitude or a consciousness of scarcity? Do we want a mindset of always thanking the Lord? Or do we want a mindset of like, oh my God, this happened. Oh my God, that happened. Oh my God, I didn't get sleep. You know, I didn't get this raise. I didn't get this. Do we want that consciousness? Or do you want a consciousness of, Krishna, thank you for another day. Thank you that I didn't get that raise. That's a tough one to say, right? Tough one. Oh, you know what? I didn't get that car. Big deal. Oh, I didn't get that loan to buy a bigger house. Yeah, right. Are we able to say that? Because everything is sanctioned by the Lord. Everything is planned by the Lord. There is a very nice quote by a very famous philosopher, Henry David Thoreau. He said, only that day dawns to which we are awake. Powerful. Only that day dawns to which we are awake. So if we have been sleeping throughout our lives, we haven't seen the morning sunrise. Have we been sleeping all our lives? Because if we have been sleeping on all our lives, throughout our lives, that means we haven't even seen the morning dawn. Then how can we be grateful? In order to be grateful, we have to be awake. But if we have been sleeping throughout our lives, how do we be grateful? We are grateful because we are awake. If we are not grateful, that means we have been sleeping throughout our lives. Time to wake up. Right? One of the bhajans by Lord Chaitanya, Jeev Jago, wake up sleeping souls. Wake up sleeping souls. Because why? We have been sleeping and we haven't seen the sunrise or the morning dawn. We haven't seen it yet. And so we have to ask ourselves, if we want gratitude, what should we do? Open the hearts. Without gratitude, love is impossible. Without gratitude, love is impossible. Love only thrives when there is gratitude. When there's no gratitude, there ain't no love. It doesn't grow. It just doesn't grow. And what is the opposite of gratitude? I deserve this. It's mine. I worked hard for it. It's my 80 hours of work. It's my 60 hours of work. It's my 40 hours of work. I burn the midnight candle every night. It's my effort that I got this job, I got this raise, I deserve it. That is the opposite of gratitude, a sense of entitlement. That is the opposite of gratitude. And it all comes from wanting to be the controller. It all comes from wanting to be the controller. Because we say, but it's all because of my knowledge, my brilliance, my degree, my 4 years of college degree, how I worked my way up to the company and got that raise and that. It's all because of my knowledge, my academics, my brilliance, my intelligence. All because of what nothing is from us. Everything is from the Lord. That is a divine gift given by the Lord. Are we appreciative of it? Are we grateful about it? And if we start thinking it's because of my knowledge, my brilliance, my intelligence, my academic degree, I deserve it, Mother Rukmini says it's actually a very cancerous thought. It's very cancerous. And this kind of thinking can be very deadly in any relationship. Very deadly in any relationship. So grateful heart is like a fountain. We have seen fountains, right? When water just starts springing out, just springing out. A grateful heart is like a fountain that is always overflowing. Always overflowing. And a disease of acquiring acquisition is when you have a bowl and there's a little fountain, but you say, I want a Tesla. It ain't going to fit that bowl. So what we do, we get a bigger bowl. The fountain is the same size, but the bowl is bigger. I want a bigger house. The bowl gets bigger. I want a 6-figure salary. The bowl gets even bigger. The bowl is getting bigger, but the water fountain is not flowing out because we're not grateful enough. Whenever we say, I want this, I want this, I want this, we are increasing the size of the bowl, not the size of the fountain. Because the bowl is getting bigger, we're throwing things in, but the water is not coming out because we are not grateful enough. A grateful heart is a fountain that is always coming out, falling on the floor, always overflowing, always overflowing. Once we say, I want this, I want this, I want the latest TV, I want the latest iPhone, I want the bigger house, I want the latest car, I want the whatever, whatever. The bowl gets bigger, 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 but the water is not coming out. So where's the gratitude? Where's the gratitude? Are we grateful for what little we have? There's a beautiful quote from the Quran. It says, God has made each one of us different so that we will have to learn to get along with each other and respect each other. God could have made us all the same, but He didn't, because He knew that we will not learn harmony and gratitude. Imagine if, I don't know, I always forget this. I don't know what is the world's population. What is it? Do you know approximately? Imagine if there was 8 billion Anusuyas. Man, that'd be bad. Imagine if there was 8 billion Anusuyas. Everybody is the same Anusuya. They'll probably commit suicide. It'll be boring. It's all the same people. No difference. How do we learn to adjust and get along and be appreciative and be grateful and learn in harmony? How do we do that? So the Lord made us different so that we have to learn to get along and respect each other and work and live in harmony. That's the whole idea of community building. So it's so, and we'll end with this. By becoming grateful, we become great. So whenever we think, oh, Anasuya, how can I become great? Very easy. Become grateful. If we want to be great, become grateful. Becoming great, we don't have to have a 6-figure and a mansion and 3 Teslas and Ivy League school and no. Becoming great, the only prerequisite to becoming great is to be grateful. Appreciate that appreciate the divine gifts we get. That is the essence of Christmas. Giving and being grateful. Are we grateful with what we have? Then, and we'll end with this, my first daughter, Vinda, she posted a very nice post on her Facebook. Really touched my heart. I'm going to try to paraphrase it. It was a post that she took from somewhere, but it was really deep, where it says that, appreciate your mother's cooking, something like that, because there are some that don't have mothers and don't have food. That's amazing. Appreciate your mother's cooking, because there are some that don't have mothers and don't have food. Goes back to the same thing, how important it is that we respect our mothers. It's only by the mothers that we are alive, because they give us the human touch, the human affection, the human love, the sacrifices, that's why Krishna says, when he was leaving his school to go back, after school to go back to his kingdom, his guru's his guru's wife became very attached to Krishna and Balaram. And she was so sad. And she told Krishna, no, don't go, please stay, don't go, I've become so close to both of you. And he says, no, I have to go. I have to go back. I'm done with my school. And he said, I'm not here to break your heart. And she said, I'm a mother. I'm not a father. And then she said, the Supreme Lord is a father. He's not the mother, so he doesn't understand the mother's heart. And she even said, the Supreme Lord has to appear through a mother. That's how much respect Krishna gave his mother. Gratitude, gratefulness. So in this holiday season, we should look at Christmas as a time of giving, a time of being grateful, a time of sharing, and being appreciative of all the gifts that we have gotten from Krishna, good or bad, because they all have lessons. It's very easy to be grateful for the good gifts, not for the not so good gifts. I mean, I went through that, but I only realized it 10, 20 years looking back, like, I'm so glad that didn't happen. When I look back, I'm appreciative. But it's hard. So that is my sharing from today from Mother Rukmini's wonderful class on Christmas and the meaning of being grateful. So to become great, we have to be grateful. Thank you so much. We have about, I think, 8 more minutes, 10 more minutes, 8 more minutes. Are there any questions, any comments, any, yes, Daniel? Because that moment, that doesn't become a moment when the moment goes ahead. The moment is gone. And we can't turn it back. It's gone. Yeah. Beautiful takeaway. Thank you, Daniel. Beautiful takeaway. Yeah, it is. We are so caught up in this rat race. So caught up in the distraction. Like the last couple of weeks, I avoid doing any Christmas shopping in the store because each year I see people getting more and more degraded. Like the level of patience is like -10. It's crazy out there. And in the mood of giving and sharing, it's more like, hey, you cut my line. It's flipped. Where is that mood of being grateful, be giving, or whatever? So as I was passing the highway last week, I said, look at this rat race. It's so commercialized. We forget how to be still and be appreciative in that. That's a very nice hymn, Yes, I used to love that hymn. Be still and know that I am God. How many times do we just be still? And, like last week, Jit Mitra's brother visited us from New York, and he stopped by our house on Thursday. And he said to me, Mataji, I'm having a hard time sleeping at nights. And I said, why? He said, it's so quiet. He's from New York. New York never sleep. Say, it's so quiet. I don't hear the sirens. I don't hear the honking. I can't sleep. It's too quiet. I was like, oh boy. Rohini knows. Because when I was in New York back in 2016, 2017, and every time I go once, thank God I don't go anymore, Krishna, thank you, Krishna. And every 2 months I go for work, you know, and they'll put me up in different hotels. And one time they put me up in Times Square. Times Square! It was hellish. I remember dreading leaving my office to walk back to Broadway because, you know, you forget catching the subway is like madness. And I would walk and I would see lines of people just to get to the theater. The line is across the next street. I said, this is insane. I get to my hotel and I remember for those 3 nights I did not sleep because all I heard was silence. And I couldn't wait to come home. And that night when I came home, I told my husband, I just want to sleep. But it's the moment. Be still. Live in the moment and hear. And be awake, as you said. Beautiful takeaway. Thank you.
Your talk reminded me, my dad's in heaven now, but your talk really, I felt it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's beautiful. Very nice takeaway. We have to be awake. Have to be awake. Any other questions or comments? Reflections, realizations, any thoughts? I don't know. Let me see how much time we have. Oh, 3 more minutes.
I got one other thing.
Yes.
I don't mean to monopolize.
No, you're not.
One other thing I really took home is the walking on the mother thing and the child thing. I feel like humans have forgotten how to take care of the earth.
Yeah.
They look at a strip mall or look around, it's just devoid of nature.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We try to
Yeah.
rule over nature. This whole Krishna path is all about loving nature.
Yes.
Loving Krishna through nature.
Yes.
Respecting.
So
And,
true.
yes, that was another big takeaway.
Thank you. It is big. I mean, my mom reminded me, and especially, you know, my mom and I had our differences, but she had it more with my sister. So every time she and my sister fought, she'd call me more, and I'm like, oh my God. And she goes, that girl just walked all over me. I'm like, huh, Ma? She goes, she just hurt me. She just stomped me, you know. And now, putting the mother and the Mother Earth, I can relate to that. You know, I can relate to that. Yeah, thank you. Beautiful takeaway. We have 1 more minute. Any other takeaways, any other questions, any other comments? So Christmas is a time of giving and sharing, a time of being grateful, a time of be still and be awake and be conscious of gratitude, to really adopt the consciousness of gratitude, always being thankful, always being grateful, even if we didn't get something. The Lord knows why we didn't get it. It's not going to be apparent now, but it will be later on. Why? When I look, I know in my life, you know, whenever I went through stuff where I didn't get it, I'll be like, Krishna, what, you want me to suffer more? But when I look back, 10, 15 years later, when I look back, I'm like, Krishna, thank you. Now I see why you took it away from me. Now I see why you say, I shouldn't get it. You know, like, well, you know, I mean, I got laid off once. I had my job. I was framed. I used to work at a bank. And normally, and we can end with this, and normally it's a requirement by a bank that you have to take a week off. That's a mandatory rule if you work for the banking world, so they can check your drawers. So I took a week off, and before you take a week off, they have to check your drawer. And then when you come back after a week, what you have in your drawer should be the same as what you had, you know, what you will have when you come back. So I remember before I took my vacation, started my vacation, my drawer had $10,000. That's all teller's money is $10,000 in the drawer. Went for the vacation and came back. Found the drawer was $9,000. Someone stole the $1,000, but they framed me. I said, wait. And the same person that's counted $10,000 told me, I'm like, well, anyway. So they framed me, they laid me off. And my kids were very little. I remember they were little. And Krishna came and picked me up, my husband, and I was very down. And he said, what's wrong with you guys? I said, I got fired. They got framed. He goes, what? I said, yeah. I didn't cry. I didn't know what to make of it. It was like a shock. But now when I look back, I'm so glad I left that job because I didn't want to be in that place. But at the time, I couldn't see it. I mean, it's very painful when you get framed for stealing $1,000 that you never took. But when I look back, I said, it's all the Lord's arrangement. And I said, thank you, Krishna, because I could not see myself working at the bank forever. It's the gratitude, and the more I think we develop that mood, the more it will help us. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Vimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Himate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Viyadita Gadadha Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Aditya Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Aditya Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jagana, Jaya Jagana, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Jagana, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nithai Gora Haribo, 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 Nithai Gora Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo. Gora Premanande, Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Privajikacharya Stotara Satyasishi Mother's Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki. Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Privajikacharya Stotara Satyasishi Mother's Divine Grace, Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnavin Ki. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki. ISKCON founder Charya Shri Prabhupada Ki. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki. Vrindavan Dham Ki. Mathura Dham Ki. Navadvip Dham Ki. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki. Jagannath Swami Ki. Ganga Mai Ki. Jamuna Mai Ki. Tulsi Devi Ki. Bhakti Devi Ki. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki. Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga Guru. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Praladaladanayini. Praladaladanayini. Hiranyakashipu vaksha. Hiranyakashipu vaksha. Silatankara kalaye. Silatankara kalaye. Ito nisingo parato nisingo. Ito nisingo parato nisingo. Yato yato yamitato nisingo. Yato yato yamitato nisingo. Vahe nisingo hiraye nisingo. Nasingavadi saranam papadye. Tavakara Kamala Vale Naka Abuta Singa Dalita Hiranya Kasipo Dano Bringam Keshavarita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Re Jaya Jaganisha Re Jaya Jaganisha Re Tavakara Kamara Vare Naka Abuta Singa Dalita Hiranya Kashipu Tano Bringam Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Re Jaya Jagadisha Re Jaya Jagadisha Re Jaya Nasingade, 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 Jaya Nasingade. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Hara Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Hari-o, 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 Hari-o. Ithai Gaur Hari-o, 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 Gaur Hari-o. सिंह भगवान की, प्रहलाद महाराज की, इच्छा गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि हरि।
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Vol. Nice to see devotees on post-Christmas. So nice to have devotees come together on this wonderful day of learning gratitude, learning appreciativeness. So thank you. We want to welcome Tom, who's visiting us. He is in Pennsylvania. He travels around. He's a construction guy, so he has the winter off, right? And his parents are here, so he's visiting us. And Tom, we're so happy you're with us. And like I said, we're here every Sunday, so as long as you're in PA, you can come here. Thank you so much. Haribol. Thank you, Tom. Just a couple of announcements. One is we have our New Year's Eve program coming up this Friday night from 8 p.m. to midnight, and we will have Prasadam, definitely. And we will have Kirtan, we'll have bhajans, and we will have the year review, what we have done this year, even though it was COVID, but we were able to do some outreach preaching. Amazing service. I'm very happy about that. And also we will have Krishna Conscious fun and games, more like a trivia. So you don't have to come prepared for this. It's just going to be on the spot. So we would like to make it as exciting and fun as we can so that we can get a lot of sadhu sangha. You know, in these difficult times of our pandemic, what is really suffering is sadhu sangha. And that is how Maya works. It keeps devotees apart. So the only way that we can stay together and continue sadhu sangha is, all we have to do is just follow the CDC rules so we can have sadhu sangha. That's it. Very, very simple. So as we know that the Omicron is going crazy, some things are going crazy. This is a crazy world anyway. So we are requesting devotees, try to stay as local as you can. There has been a concern, that there has been an alert sent out by one of our temple leaders asking devotees to try to minimize out-of-state travels. Just stay local, and yes.
Would you ever want a copy of my vaccine card?
Nah. I know you're vaccinated.
Oh, okay.
You're cool. Yeah, it's just outside because we don't know who we are going out of the state, so that tends to be a problem. Because what happened was last week we had a function in Delaware and people coming from different states, and 8 of them got it, so it was kind of crazy. So we're requesting devotees, those of us here, the safest place to be is come to this temple and go home. And stay within the state. Try to keep our travels low-key, low profile, not too much, so we can protect each other and still have sadhu sangha, because in times like this, we need each other more than getting caught up in the crazy world out there with all this startling, scary news. And if we just follow the simple rules, wearing masks and hand sanitizing and social distancing and box prasadam, we are good. As long as we stay that and stay low-key, low profile, and just be amongst each other, I know we can get through this. We went through it for 20 months. We can do it again. If we did in the past and we just stick to the rules, we can do it again. So please, just want to just share with you guys all that. But please, we do invite devotees to please come on New Year's Eve. Those of you who did not get the 2022 calendar, please do come see me. I do have copies of that. We just got them in a few weeks ago. So until then, please do have, and last thing is we have a very nice prasadam cooked for tonight. It's actually a traditional Christmas dinner prasadam. And we want to thank Mamina Mataji, who's not here. She's out of the, but she cooked. And Meera, who also cooked a wonderful feast downstairs. So please do not leave home, as they say in the Kami world, don't leave home without your MX, right? So we are going to say don't leave home without your box prasadam. So please, we have a lot of prasadam, so please do feel free to pack some and take some home. Until then, have a wonderful weekend and hope to see you all on New Year's Eve, Friday night, where we rock the night with Kirtan till midnight. And we will have Aarti on that night because it's Gonitai. Gonitai is very merciful. They will stay up, well, they did their nocturnal Kirtan, so that they will stay up till midnight on Friday. And before that, please do see the deities and do not forget your box prasadam. Hari Hari Bol. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.